Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Monday Night Football, a presentation of the Simulation Football League brought to you by APM Music. We're broadcasting live on YouTube from San Francisco, California. Here at the Shark Tank Sharkbait Stadium here in the Bay Area, the San Francisco Sharks will take on the Indianapolis Spitfire. My name is Eric Vincent, alongside Dan Mitchell and Sunny Six on stats tonight. Dan, what do we have to look forward to between these two teams?
Thanks, Eric. Happy to be here. You know, San Francisco has been on this downward trend, winning their first two games, and sort of on this flop on the last three. But let's see if they can turn this momentum around and really start pushing forward and see if their defense and offense can step it up. Indy, on the other hand, has been the vice versa of that. They've been coming up in the last two games after a hard start by them. Let's see if they can keep this trend going or see if they flop instead of the Sharks.
All right, we'll take a look at the coin toss here. Take a listen in. As Indy will call the toss. TD Drew, the quarterback there, number 7. And it looks like the Spitfire will win the toss. They will also take the opening kickoff to start things off. And the Sharks will go ahead and kick us off here in just a moment. Once again, you're watching a presentation of the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music live on YouTube. We'll be back momentarily in just a second. And as we've got the ball on the tee, Chris Long, the kicker for the San Francisco Sharks, ready to send it downfield to the Spitfire to get us underway. We are already here in San Francisco. Here we go. Fielded at about the 10-yard line. Bringing it up the field is Hunter Jones. And he will take it out to about the 30-yard line. And that is where Indy will take over to start the game. Dan, this is a high-powered offense. Lots of passing to go here from TD Drew and company.
Yeah, this is a great offense coming out. They're coming out slinging hard, sometimes dropping some things they shouldn't have. But I want to see Keith Swearingen really coming in this game more. You know, if they really open it up and see what they can put some defense on the Sharks off sides.
Spitfire in all white. TD Drew taking plenty of time, way too much time, as he gets sacked on the opening possession here. And a good start by this San Francisco Sharks defense. DD Sacks with his first sack of the ballgame.
That was a great opening by the Sharks. They knew Indy was coming out here and going to try and pass it, so they put that pressure on and went right after TD Drew. So hoping to see more of that.
San Francisco in the all light blue uniforms. TD Drew under center. He's going to take a deep drop. He'll throw it over the middle of the field, get some of that yardage back from the sack, as he finds Trevor Farrell on the crossing route over the middle.
Trevor Farrell coming out as the first of the many of the Indy's possible receivers on their offense. Last game versus San Francisco, as this is a rematch, he had 101 yards and a touchdown. Let's see if they keep going to him for this game or not.
And on a 3rd and long, we'll have to see what happens here. Keith Swearingen, sidecar left of TD Drew in the gun. He will throw it to the far sideline. He's got Hunter Jones with the catch as he steps out of bounds past the sticks. That'll move the chains.
Hunter Jones coming out last few games. He's been the least hit offense coming on through. He's been less than 100 every game as the past two, as everyone else has been hitting over 100. Let's see if he can really pop up and get those 100 passed, or let's see if the Sharks can shut down Indy.
So 1st and 10 now. Hunter Jones, Trevor Farrell, Leonidas Richards, another big receiver from a week ago, and Dan Daly at tight end for the Spitfire. TD Drew is going to throw it towards the far sideline. Nice spin move there, and that is Leonidas Richards with his first catch of the ball game, and that will move the chains again out into San Francisco territory.
Leonidas Richards already having more yards than he did against San Francisco last game. He had 7 yards when they played San Fran last game. Let's see if they can do this, or if San Fran will dial in on them.
We've seen DD Sacks already on defense. Franco Sonati, the defensive tackle, coming over from Vancouver, as TD Drew throws a wobbler under pressure, and that is complete for another 10 yards. Richards again with the catch there.
There was some great pressure by the Sharks. They were pushing on in. Do you think the Sharks will continue this on, Eric, or do you think Indy will keep moving forward?
Indy's been looking good as far as their passing attack is concerned, and this San Francisco defense has allowed a lot of yards here in the first 5 games of the season. here in week 6 of season 12 of Simulation Football League action. 2nd and inches as Keith Swearingen is bottled up in the backfield, going nowhere. Great stop by the Sharks.
That was an absolute destruction by the Sharks. They came in and they dropped Swearingen. They knew Indy was trying to come in on that short, 2nd and short, and they pushed him down. Sharks only allowing 548 rushing yards this season so far.
Chad Guy, the outside linebacker for the Sharks. Justin Jones, Camden Hoffman, the corners. We have Barry Barkley and Jacob Gustafson in the defensive backfield at safeties. Tipped in the air, and oh my gosh, what an athletic play by the defensive lineman. Who the heck was that? J.J. Stallion, actually the inside linebacker, getting in there, tipping the ball in the air and grabbing it himself, all while engaged with the offensive lineman. Get a look here.
Absolute crazy play. That was a beautiful show of athleticism, as you said, Eric, by the defender. He saw the ball get tipped up in the air, and while he was holding on, he grabbed it. Amazing play by the defender.
And something we talked about off air here, Dan, +4 in the turnover differential is the San Francisco Sharks defense, already coming up with a turnover to start things off. Handoff up the middle. This is Ogunzulu, and Ogunzulu spinning his way through the defenders. Is anyone going to catch him? 10, 5. He'll be stopped at the 3. 1st and goal from the 4-yard line is actually where they'll spot him.
Ogunzulu coming out hard this game. Last game versus Indy, he came out hard as well. He had 29 carries and 169 yards, 5.8 yards per carry by him. And he's already showing out that he's going to be a strong part of this San Francisco offense. Don't you think, Eric?
Absolutely. We got fireworks to start things off, and we're barely into this first quarter here, Dan.
Absolutely great game already. I'm hoping for a great shootout by these two teams, and we'll see what happens.
Bunch of wide receivers towards the top of the screen. Juan Thomas III is going to throw it to the back of the end zone into coverage. Tipped and incomplete. He was looking for Gabriel Manning. 2nd and goal coming up.
Gabriel Manning coming out strong. He's been a very strong offensive pressure point from the San Fran. Let's see what they can do and if they can pull in another one.
Want to welcome some of you guys out there in the chat. Hunter Jones, Mr. Gutty, 117, Ermac Jackson, Jacob Gustafson, along with others. Also want to thank our lovely mod tonight, Ashley Jackson. Thank you for keeping everyone in line. 7:31 frozen on the clock in this first quarter of play. Over the middle of the field, he had a man, could not hold on, though, as it falls incomplete. He was looking for the fullback, Kelvin Bryant, on that play.
Oh, questionable play by San Fran. See if they were just trying to throw a short pass and get it in, throw into a generic and see if he couldn't just hold it on. I wonder if they're going to try and rush it in with Ogun with a great run earlier and see what they do.
We've seen Ogunzulu, Juan Thomas III at quarterback, Gabriel Manning, Matt Burnham, and Ermac Jackson, all wide receivers for the Sharks on offense. Thomas is going to throw it in the end zone. It's picked off, going the other way. It's going to be a touchback, bringing it out to the 30-yard line, but that's an interception by Johnny Bravo, one of the Week 4 additions here to the Spitfire defense.
You know, Johnny Bravo not seeing the Sharks this season so far, but he already read that route beautifully and just grabbed that ball and moved on. Now we have an interception and takeaway by both teams. Let's see what they do and if they keep this throw game going and seeing how their passes get wild or not.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, Dan. Both Juan Thomas III and Johnny Bravo not in this original game that was played back in Week 2. So this is certainly a good matchup to start things off as both teams coming up with a turnover early on. T.D. Drew going to throw it over the middle. He's got his man, Dan Daly, and that's his first catch of the ball game, out across the middle of the field, out to the 34.
Good catch. Keep it moving on forward. T.D. Drew with a 83% completion rate so far. You know, he's doing all right, pushing on through. He found a nice, easy target, pushing on through and seeing what they can do. The defenders can catch up on that.
Bit of a heavier formation here for the Spitfire. 4 wide receivers. Drew is going to take a long drop. He'll throw it to the far sideline. That's caught right at the 40-yard line. And that'll be a gain of 7 on the play. Jones with the catch as he has some words with Sonati there.
Hunter Jones already with 18 yards this game so far. Do you think there'll be a star receiver on either team so far, or do you think it's going to be more of a run game?
Well, I had the privilege of calling the Spitfires game last week, and there were 3 receivers, all over 100 yards receiving. That was something we did not see a ton of last week. Keith Swearingen running the football. and he moves the sticks as he gets a gain of about 5 or 6 on that play.
I don't think San Fran was really reading that. Indy has been pulling to their guns recently, and after the last stuff that Swearingen had, that was an interesting play by Indy moving on forward, but it seemed to have worked out for him.
3 bunch receivers. Swearingen's going to get another handoff here, and he's met right at the line of scrimmage. Good defensive pursuit by the Sharks. That tackle made, I'm trying to get the number, yeah, 24 there. That was Jabril Peppers coming in there and making the stop.
Great read by San Fran. They really pushed him down after seeing the last run dialed in on Keith and just dropped him. Let's see if they can continue on doing that or if Indy will push on through.
Same formation, 3 bunch receivers towards the top of the screen. 6 in the box for the Sharks. Hand off to Swearingen, trying to find the hole, getting skinny, and he'll make it out to midfield, where it'll be about a gain of 4. It'll be 3rd and long coming up.
See how Indy comes on through. Swearingen, they keep dumping it off to him, push it on through, and see if he can average a bit more than his 1.3 so far. See if they go to the long game for this.
Swearingen sidecar left, 3 wide receivers for Drew to work with. Takes the snap, throws it to the near sideline, tipped and incomplete. That was great defense out there by Camden Hoffman to tip the ball away, and the Spitfire will have to punt for the first time tonight.
Great defense by Camden Hoffman. He read that route and saw where the ball was going and dropped that. Almost picked off by the defender behind him. Didn't get a good chance to see if the tip drill will go. But we'll have to see what San Fran does with this opportunity that they'll have coming up.
And Chad Guy, one of the defenders that was creeping behind Hoffman on that play, he's been getting his mitts on some interceptions, certainly this season and last season as well. So that would have been a sight to see, as both teams already with the turnover on their defensive resumes. And we'll see our first punt of the evening, courtesy of Jake D'Antonio. Sharks don't come after it. Fielded about the 15-yard line is Gabriel Manning, and he'll bring it out to about the 18, where the Sharks will take over on their second possession with not as great field position as the first one, courtesy of the interceptions. So both teams getting interceptions, both teams not able to do anything with those turnovers.
I'm hoping to see what Juan Thomas III can come out this time. So far, he hasn't thrown a completed throw, and I'm hoping he sees either Burnham, Manning, or Jackson and gets a really good throw and see what they can do, or if Indy will put a stop to it.
2 wide receivers, Zulu sidecar left, Zulu finding a hole up the middle, and a good gain of 8 out to the 26 of San Francisco to start things off.
Great drag by Zulu. He really drugged those defenders, and picking up those a few extra yards that can mean a giant difference to see if they can move the sticks. Eric, do you think he will come out more, or are they just going to keep the Zulu all night?
Zulu has been showing that he's formidable on the ground, and with JT3 already throwing a pick, might as well just keep it on the ground here. We'll have to see what happens. Offset I formation, easy tempo, defensive tackle, Von Sanuk, Johnny Bravo, the corners for the Spitfire, as a handoff goes up the middle there, and that is not Zulu. That's the fullback who dropped one in the end zone earlier, Kelvin Bryant, with his first carry of the ball game.
Great to see them get someone else and really find that opening, pushing on through, and got those extra yards to pick up that first down. Let's see if San Fran can keep pushing on forward. You think there will be any big defenders by Indy on this drive, you think, Eric?
I don't know. We'll go over the rest of them here. I got interrupted there by the big run. Peyton Ellis, Steve Vitak, are the free safeties, and Paul Connolly at strong safety for the Spitfire. Easy tempo, always a wrecking ball down there in the middle. We'll have to see what happens here, and there he is. Just as I'm talking about him, makes a huge play, only for a gain of 1 on that handoff by Zulu.
Easy tempo. Last time they faced San Francisco had 5 tackles and 2 sacks, 4 of which of those tackles were for loss. Easy tempo being a big asset by the Indy defense, and see if he can dial in on them.
Bunched wide receivers towards the top of the screen for the Sharks. Zulu in the backfield. Juan Thomas III under center. Thomas to throw. He'll throw it over the middle on a crossing route. He's got his man. That's going to move the sticks there. And a good catch by Matt Burnham as he extends the drive for the Sharks.
First completed catch by San Fran, and it was a really good one. Matt Burnham coming out there and saw his opening. He grabbed that, pulled that in, grabbed that first down for San Francisco. Let's see if they can keep moving on forward and keep this Indy defense on their toes.
I apologize. That was more of a post route. Looks like he was crossing at the time I saw him there, but definitely a good play regardless. 1st and 10 from midfield for the Sharks. Offset I formation. Handoff again to the fullback. This time, Spitfire not fooled as Easy Temple makes another tackle, this time for loss, and it'll be a loss of 2 on the play.
You know, Easy Temple's already shown his worth in this defense, pulling out through and dialing in on Ogunzulu. Let's see what he can keep on doing or if he's going to get fooled by this pass game.
Haven't seen a ton of passing yards yet tonight, as that completion earlier was the only completion on JT3's resume here. He pump fakes, throws it over the middle, and another interception. Going the other way, I believe that was Johnny Bravo again, his 2nd pick of the evening.
It seems the two people who haven't even seen each other before are already dialed in. Johnny Bravo seeing what Juan Thomas has done and picked up that 2nd interception already. Let's see if this is just a back and forth of takeaways between the two teams.
I'd have to imagine, going back to your previous question, I'd have to imagine that they would handle the ball more to Ogunzulu, given the way that their quarterback has performed so far tonight. Still early on, though. Throwing over towards the far sideline. It's picked up, going the other way. San Francisco with the interception, bringing it back into Indy territory. And what are we watching here tonight? This has just been incredible. Both defenses coming out and showing their grit. And let's get a look at the interception by Justin Jones.
You know, Eric, I think we're going to see a big turnover right this game, and it sure will keep us on our toes and keep things interesting. Do you think they'll happen more even just in the 1st quarter?
I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll have to find out. There's still 2:17 left to go. We've already had 2 picks on both sides of the field. This is incredible. 4 wide receivers for JT3 to work with here. Thomas is going to throw. He's stepping up in the pocket, and he's going down. Sacked on the play by Indy, and that'll be a loss of 3 on the play.
Huge come out. It really seems this is going to be a real defensive game, Eric. I'm hoping to see some just mad shootouts with this crazy interceptions and sacks. It's going to be a big one. I'm feeling it.
I am all for defensive games, especially considering that the Sharks just have been allowing a ton of points on the board here, as Ogunzulu going through arm tacklers there, but eventually gets dragged down right at the line of scrimmage. It'll be a 3rd and long coming up here. Great pursuit by the Spitfire defense.
You know, Steve Vitak coming down. He only had 2 tackles versus San Francisco last game, but he read that run by Zulu and dropped him. Let's see if either offense can really pick it up or if there'll be more shenanigans.
Shenanigans, I love it. I love it. Sharks allowing 33 and almost 33 and a half points a game here. Play action, though. Thomas is going to throw it to the near sideline. Turnaround throw, and just shy of the 1st down marker. That was a heck of a play there to Ermac Jackson, but it'll come up just shy, and we'll see our first field goal attempt by Chris Long tonight.
You know, so far, San Francisco only has 2 completed throws this entire game, but Ogunzulu already has 64 yards, so you have to see that their plan may be working.
In 4th and inches, we still see the offense out here. Are they trying to get him to jump off sides, or are they actually going to run a play here? 5 seconds left on the play clock. And Indy does not bite, so San Francisco have to burn their first time out here, and you'd imagine you'd see the field goal unit at this point.
I would think so, Eric. I didn't know, though, when it was first coming out, Ogunzulu's been having a beautiful game so far, and there was a probable chance he could have gone up there and pushed that extra inch, but they want to take the easy points, possibly, and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 rushes, 64 yards on the ground already for Ogunzulu. But it looks like they're going to try and take the safe points here.
Not a bad call already early in the game, and we'll have to see what happens later on. It's only the 1st quarter, and we've had plenty of, I said earlier, shenanigans.
This one a 40-yard attempt by Chris Long. High snap. Kick is up and away and through from 40 off the left foot of Chris Long. And San Francisco on the board first here in the Shark Tank.
Great, interesting game so far. We've had a giant defense turn up by both teams. Just absolute shenanigans, I have to keep saying it, between the interceptions and everything that's been going on. It's been a great game for the defense on both sides. I can't wait to see more.
There's certainly been plenty of, I mean, absolutely. Shenanigans is a great way to put it, a great word to use to describe what we've been seeing here. We've seen 2 interceptions on both sides of the ball, each defense with 2 interceptions, and we're not even done with the first quarter yet. Finally, with points on the board, 3-0, and Indy will get another crack at the ball here as Hunter Jones fields it from about the 10, spin move, and he'll bring it out to the 34-yard line. Good return there.
I'd like to thank the 34 people watching currently. Make sure you hit that like button. And thanks to our stats guy, Sunny6. Keep moving on, and if you want to get interested, join the Discord in the link below.
Absolutely. Ashley Jackson there will be happy to provide any information there, including our website, Discord, anything like that. So be sure to hit her up in the chat. 1st and 10 from the 34, 23 seconds left in the first quarter. Keith Swearingen gets absolutely leveled right around the 40-yard line. That was a heck of a hit there.
Big hit by the San Francisco defense. Swearingen only has 9 yards so far compared to Zulu's 63, but the Indy seems to still be using him when they think it will come out right, and it has worked out a little bit. We'll have to see if he gets involved more later on.
And we've hit the end of an action-packed first quarter here in San Francisco. 3-0 your score in favor of the Sharks. Second quarter just about to get underway. You're watching a presentation of the Simulation Football League, presented by APM Music, and we're live on YouTube. Eric Vincent alongside Dan Mitchell, Sunny6 on stats tonight. Want to thank you guys for coming out, checking us out. Let us know how we're sounding there in the chat as TD Drew is going to throw it over the middle. He's got Leonidas Richards running another post route there, and he'd been finding the holes in the zone there, have the Spitfire offense.
Leonidas Richards already showing up pretty well this game. He has 3 catches for 35 yards, and TD Drew and him seem to have a good connection. We'll have to see if it keeps going on further, if they'll open it up a bit.
And we'll get a look at Richards there. As you mentioned, Keith Swearingen, not a ton of action on the ground. 5 rushes for 9 yards total in just the first quarter. He's going to get his 6th opportunity here. Struggling to go through defenders, and so get a gain of 4, bring it out to the San Francisco 43.
The cheetah coming out and having to pull a bit more weight than he's used to. He drug those defenders around a bit, picking up those 4, but the San Fran defense really seemed to have dropped him and pinned him down.
6'1", 245 are the measurements for Keith Swearingen there. Already carrying around quite a bit of weight. He is in the backfield there with TD Drew in the gun. He will check it down to Richards as he's coming over the middle, marked just shy of the first down marker. It's going to be 3rd and short coming up.
We'll have to see what Indy does on this 31, either bring out Swearingen again or stick to this pass that they've been loving so far. It'll be an interesting call to see what they do.
Sharks coming up and playing press coverage as Drew is in the gun. Sidecar left is Swearingen. And Swearingen going to get the handoff, lowering his shoulder, but he got just enough there to move the sticks out to the 36.
We can see a real big difference between Ogunzulu and Swearingen. Swearingen so far this game has only really not been picking up many yards, but he's been picking up the little bit they need to keep pressing on forward, while Ogunzulu has been picking up the big yards in giant plays. We'll have to see what happens later on in this game.
Three wide receivers for Drew to work with. Takes the high snap. He'll throw it quickly. Tipped up in the air and intercepted again. This time, not really TD. Actually, 2 of the 3 picks you've seen tonight, not really TD Drew's fault, but this one going the other way courtesy of Camden Hoffman.
More of these shenanigans, as I said earlier. Dan Daly with the little drop that threw it up. We have to see what San Francisco does now with this another takeaway by them. Well, interesting so far with the defense. I love this defensive shootout, though. It's the reverse of everything that these 2 teams have really been doing so far.
Absolutely. We just have not seen this type of defense from either of these teams this season, so it's certainly fun to watch in the early goings. Juan Thomas, the 3, going to throw it over the middle there, the 3rd. Good grief, if I could talk. Throws it over the middle of the field. That's caught out to the 46-yard line.
Big catch. We're seeing both offenses are opening up too now. Juan Thomas III, who hasn't been really throwing short, only had, I didn't see how many yards it was before him, but he's 43 yards now. That was the first real long throw I've seen made by him. And he's opened it up and got that good catch for a good amount of yardage.
We'll see if they can continue this open air passing attack, which they are certainly used to. 4 wide receivers this time for Thomas as he's under center. Quick pass over the middle of the field. That's caught. And Gabriel Manning just didn't have anybody on him, really, as he's able to cut up the middle of the field and move the sticks on that pass.
Yeah, no, Gabriel Manning really had that good cut forward where he could catch up and get that first down. Not that difficult, really. He pushed on through. It was a great show by them, by Juan Thomas III and Gabriel Manning.
I formation this time, as Ogunzulu will get the handoff. Looked like he had a little bit more room ahead of him. Dragged down there. I believe that was Ryan Wall there with the stop, and way to limit the damage there by the Spitfire defense.
You know, like you said, the defense really dialed in after Zulu really pushed forward and found a good opening. And the opening really closed up quickly when Indy realized what they had done.
Spitfire coming up in press coverage. Offset I formation for the Sharks on offense. Hand off to Zulu, and good penetration there by EZ Temple, able to stop him in the backfield.
You know, EZ Temple is one of the top defensive tackles in the entire league. He really can dial in on someone and push them down with quite ease with his weight coming on behind it.
Big dude at 6'7", 300 pounds. I wouldn't want to find him in a dark alley. 3rd and 8 now for Juan Thomas III, shuffling in the pocket. He finds an opening as Ogunzulu, covered by a linebacker, coming out, and he's able to split the coverage out to the 21-yard line, just shy of the red zone, but it'll be a 1st and 10.
You know, great play by Ogunzulu, looking more like just a wide receiver at the moment, getting a great catch and pushing on through. It was a really good thing to see by them. And San Francisco really seems to be opening up their air game right now, which could make a very drastic change in the pace of this game.
3-0 your score early on in favor of the Sharks, but they are driving as they are setting up with a 1st and 10 from the 21. Juan Thomas III to throw to the far sideline. Good coverage out there by Steve Vitak, but Razor able to make the catch for a gain of 4.
Vitak, as you said, had great coverage. He knew he couldn't do much about where he was, but he made sure to take him down as soon as he grabbed that ball. So good coverage, and see what has to happen later this drive.
In the gun this time. Sarkar left is Ogunzulu. He will get the handoff as he hurdles over a defender in the backfield. And then he gets stood up right at the line of scrimmage as we get a look at his numbers so far on the day.
Ogunzulu, 6 attempts, 1 catch so far for 18 yards. Great catch by him, as I say. 85 yards total. He's having a hell of a day already for the first half.
And certainly a good start here, as the Sharks are finally getting some momentum going off of that Camden Hoffman interception. Throwing on the run is Juan Thomas III, and he'll have the catch. It's not going to be much as they bring it out to the 15-yard line. Still shy of the 1st down marker. We'll see another field goal attempt here by Chris Long.
You know, the Sharks throwing a bit short. They're being safe at the end. I don't really blame them. They had this whole interception fiasco between both teams so far. A good field goal and just putting up points there is not a bad choice.
This attempt going to be a little bit shorter than the last one, from 32 yards this time. Good snap this time as well, as Long is able to boot it through, and he'll extend the lead to 6.
6-0 in favor of San Francisco. You know, we got to start a big game, but nothing crazy runaway so far. This is itching to be a good game by both teams. Definitely if these defenses stay where they are and the offenses both step up, San Francisco already gaining that momentum that they have, and see if Indy can match it.
By the way, a chilly night out here in San Francisco, 48 degrees, which you don't normally get here in the Bay Area. But Dan, you being from the Seattle area, you're certainly familiar with the frigid cold that's been working its way through the western area here.
Yeah, my plane had a good old delay. I was worried I wasn't going to make it, but, you know, made it on through. Happy to be here with the little bit of chill, used to it.
Clear skies, don't have to worry about that white stuff or anything like that. Just got to bundle up, a jacket or two, and we're good to go here.
We'll have to see what Indy does. Yeah, no, it's a great day out. A little bit of chill is good for the players. They keep them cold so they don't have to worry about getting too hot.
3 wide receivers for TD Drew, 8 of 12, 76 yards, and he's thrown 3 picks in this first half as he throws it over the middle of the field, this time caught by Dan Daly. Could not reel in that high attempt last time around, which resulted in the interception.
You know, Daly had 4 drops, if I remember right, last game. He really has to dial that in and grab that going on forward, or else he's going to keep dropping them and set a real dark streak to his record.
Swearingen in the backfield, 3 wide receivers for Drew. Delayed handoff to Swearingen, who's trying to find some room up the middle of the field. Looked like he probably could have gone for more, but he runs into some trouble at the 34-yard line. Still going to be a 3rd and manageable coming up.
We'll have to see. Swearingen's averaging 2.4 yards per carry this game so far. See if he can pick up these 2 for the first down.
Under 4 minutes to go here in the first half. Low snap, TD Drew to throw, and he'll throw it over the middle of the field. That will move the sticks as Leonidas Richards makes the catch in coverage.
Leonidas Richards really showing up this game. He's 5 for 6 so far with 46 yards. So far, he's the biggest wide receiver, or any receiver, on the Indianapolis Spitfire. We'll have to see what goes on moving forward.
And he was working on Justin Jones. Already has an interception to his credit tonight. 3 wide receivers bunched towards the top of the screen for Drew on this 1st and 10. Drew to throw. He's going to check it down to Swearingen. Swearingen will not make it through the first tackler there. He probably could have burst through for more, but he will have to settle for the 4. And it's 2nd and 6 coming up here.
Swearingen dragging the defender a little bit, but yeah, he could have broken that and pushed on forward. It happens, and we'll have to see if the San Francisco can keep dialing in on that kind of play or if they'll be pushed back.
Drew is going to hand it off to Swearingen, and a forearm shiver delivered there by one of the defenders. That was Taz Curry coming up, one of the extra safeties, and laying the lumber on Swearingen.
You know, that was a whole school of Sharks coming on in and just dropping that little bit of pain with their big old bite. We'll have to see if they keep moving on forward and what happens on this 3rd and mid.
This crowd smelling blood in the water. They're getting on their feet here. It's getting loud in the Shark Tank. Coming up to the quick 2-minute warning here. Drew is going to throw deep over the middle, and that's another interception going the other way. This San Francisco Sharks defense has come to play, and that's Jacob Gustafson with his 1st interception of the evening, but certainly not the first one thrown by Drew tonight.
You know, 4 interceptions so far. As I said, shenanigans. These San Francisco defenders have really been dialing on TD Drew and has been grabbing them left and right so far, even first half. Dan Daly with the tackle, moving on through, and we'll see what happens.
Daly doesn't usually have to tackle, but unfortunately for him, his quarterback's been throwing picks all over the place. Juan Thomas III certainly not immune from that himself. He's thrown 2 interceptions tonight as well. Well, let's see if he can convert as he steps up in the pocket, throws it over to the far sideline, and that's Ogunzulu. He couldn't quite keep his foot in bounds past the line of scrimmage. They'll give him a credit of a yard. And it'll be 2nd and 9 coming up.
Yeah, Ogunzulu had a bit too much forward momentum, it seemed, and drug him off sides before he could pick up anything, even though he had plenty of space moving forward.
Clock running, and we will hit the quick 2-minute warning here in San Francisco. The Sharks defense coming to play tonight. They already have a 6-0 lead, but are driving late in the first half. Come on back and we'll see what happens. You're watching a presentation of the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music. We're live on YouTube. Four wide receivers on this 2nd and 9 here for Juan Thomas III. Thomas in trouble, throws it over the middle of the field, spin move, and that is caught, and that will move the chains out across to about the 32 or 33 yard line there. Quip Design delivers simple ways to keep your mouth healthy with time vibrations, brush head refills for $5, refilled every 3 months. Covered for life with free shipping for life. Use the link posted in the chat, and your purchase will help support the SFL through our partnership. Quip, a more wholesome clean. 1st and 10 from the 32. Handoff to Zulu as he brings it up the field, out to the 28-yard line. Clock still rolling.
I'd like to thank the 38 people currently watching. A few call-outs, Tanner Hendricks, the doctor, Gerald Smith, Christian Pont. Thank everyone for watching. Make sure you click that like button.
Absolutely.
And thanks to Sunny6 for stats. My bad, Eric.
Yes, sir. No worries. Certainly wanted to make sure that everybody gets the shout-outs they're supposed to get them. I formation here for JT3. He throws it on the run. Could have been maybe another interception going the other way, courtesy of Steve Vitak. Just a bad angle there as Manning makes the catch and steps out of bounds with exactly a minute to go here in the first half.
You know, Manning hasn't really come out that much so far. I think he'd be a bit more of an asset, but San Francisco has been using him a bit. He's had 2 catches for 17 yards. Hoping to see more of him and the rest of the receivers on San Francisco.
This is certainly Ogunzulu territory here on 3rd and 1. JT3 is going to throw, though, and he's got a wide-open man towards the near sideline. That's Gabriel Manning, and he will move the ball into the 8-yard line, and it's going to be a 1st and goal for the Sharks as he's knocked out of bounds.
See if the Sharks can keep this momentum for them. They've hit around this area consistently, but they haven't been pushed on forward as the Indy defense really has been a stonewall in this red zone. Let's see if they can push on forward and keep the momentum going.
Von Sanook and Peyton Ellison out there on the stop. 55 seconds left to go here in the first half. As Dan mentioned, the Sharks have been pretty close on a couple different opportunities here. Only come away with field goals. We'll see what happens here as Juan Thomas III changing things up at the line of scrimmage. He will drop back to pass, has time, stepping around in the pocket, throws it to the back of the end zone, into coverage, and incomplete. But we will see our first Me Undies Laundry on the field, and we'll get the call from the head referee.
Pass interference, number 24.
And it's going to be some DPI, defensive pass interference, in the back of the end zone there. And I believe that was Sanook out there. Or no, excuse me, Steve Vitak, the guilty party, as he is called for the penalty. They'll move the ball to the 1-yard line. It'll be a 1st and goal.
Yeah, we have to see that was a real bad lack in judgment by Indy and see if they can stop this or if Ogun can walk this right in.
JT3 to throw. He's going to throw it in the near sideline. Tipped and incomplete, making up for it there. On the play is the Spitfire defense. MeUndies are the world's most comfortable underwear. Visit MeUndies.com/simulationFL for 15% off your purchase, which will help support the SFL through our partnership. Give the gift of comfort with a 100% satisfaction guarantee, free shipping, and returns. Signature soft and stretchy MeUndies. Perfect gift for Valentine's Day coming up, fellas, by the way.
Super comfortable.
Love them. 2nd and goal from the 1. Handoff to Ogunzulu, who plows through the line of scrimmage into the end zone for the first touchdown of the night.
Super smart play by San Francisco. As the last play, I almost called shenanigans again. They pulled on through with Ogunzulu and pushed right in for that easy touchdown. Seeing then that their hard work's paying off. Let's see what that happens as Indy has to take the ball after this.
Indy with all 3 timeouts to work with following this extra point here by Chris Long. Winston handles the snap there and is up and good. 13-0 now your score as the Sharks extend their lead here in hometown San Francisco. The SFL is sponsored by APM Music. Extraordinary Everest, one of our new sponsors. Bit Central and Fuel. Harry's, all you need for a close, comfortable shave. As Chris Long boots it down the field. Fielded by Hunter Jones at about the 10-yard line. He'll bring it right up the field, squeaking through defenders, and he'll bring it out to the 31-yard line APM Music, by the way, our main sponsor, Production Music Library and Custom Music House. All those other sponsors brought to you partially by the SFL. Certainly want to thank them for their contributions. Eric Vincent alongside Dan Mitchell. And who do we have on stats tonight again? I'm blanking.
76 on stats,
Sunny 6.
Eric.
Good grief, man. Jeez. I'm so sorry. Sunny 6. Love that guy. Throwing it towards the near sideline. That's caught by Dan Daly as Indy will call their first timeout with 32 seconds left to go.
We'll have to see what Indy does on this last 30 minutes of the first half. See if they get a bit more radical, as it's been treating them a bit dirty with the shenanigans, and see if they push on forward, as I've been saying, and they have been able to, or if the San Francisco defense will nab another ball.
Let's go.
And sometimes in these situations, teams will get a little bit confused with the clock management. Certainly a good start here by Indy. Able to call their first time out there. 32 seconds to go. Decent field position here for the 1st and 10. TD Drew is going to throw. They'll throw it over the middle of the field into coverage. That's caught right near midfield. They'll hurry up to the line here. Snap taken by Drew again. 18 seconds and counting. And Daly with the catch, and the ball is on the turf. Who has it? I believe Indy came back up with it. No. They're going to stop the clock. Yeah, it had to have been Indy because it's a 3rd and inches coming up here.
Well, Eric, shenanigans.
More shenanigans.
As I've been saying this entire game, this game has been shenanigan full, and it's been absolutely crazy. Have to see what they do and if Indy can make up for that last play.
Well, that certainly puts a damper on Indy's plans here. Snaps it with 4 seconds to go. Throws it over the middle of the field. That's caught. No, it's incomplete. And 1 second will be left on the clock here as Pepper's been good in coverage.
It seems Hunter Jones just couldn't get his hands on it. It dropped out as it was still stretched out. A great play by Peppers, dropping that and grabbing, making sure the receiver couldn't really get a good grab on that ball.
So Hail Mary formation this time around for TD Drew on this 4th and inches. Nothing to lose, everything to gain. As the clock hits 0 on the first half. Drew in trouble, though, and he's going to go down. Couldn't quite get rid of the football. He is sacked on the play, and that will be the end of the first half. San Francisco has come out and put on a show defensively, putting up 13 points as a result of 4 different turnovers, courtesy of TD Drew. We'll be back with the second half here coming up in just a bit. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music live on YouTube. And welcome back into the second half. Inside the broadcast booth, Eric Vincent alongside Dan Mitchell and Sonny6 on stats tonight. Got his name right this time around. Poor Sonny. He's been doing a great job. And Dan, this was certainly not the game that we were expecting to start things off. San Francisco to get the second half kickoff here.
Oh, for sure, Eric. I was expecting offense, offense, offense. Instead, we're getting defense, defense, interceptions, and shenanigans. This is San Francisco's first kick return all game, actually, as Indy chose to elect to do it first.
And Gabriel Manning, a dangerous return man. He'll be bottled up right around the 30-yard line. They'll mark him at the 29. And that is where the Sharks will take over for their first possession of the second half. And all of these points have been on the board courtesy of turnovers. TD Drew has just been a turnover machine tonight, unfortunately, for the Spitfire.
Yeah, as you said, TD Drew, 4 interceptions. Juan Thomas III with 2. This is a game full of stats interceptions just packed in the first half.
And Juan Thomas III going to throw to Ogunzulu to start things off. And good pursuit there by Von Sanook as he's able to drag him down, but not after he gains 8 on the play. Good gain by the Sharks on first down.
Ogunzulu having a great game so far. He has 8 attempts with 74 yards and a touchdown. That is a show of a great halfback that he is.
Second and 2 from the 37. Handoff to Zulu this time around, and he's got a big gaping hole. He'll bring it out to the 43-yard line as we get a look at the 2 running backs today. Keith Swearingen again with another game where he's been kind of missing in action.
Yeah, Keith's sitting more on the back seat, and TD Drew's throwing, but he's throwing to the wrong color so far. He's throwing to the blue, and it's sure is interesting.
Zulu doing it all as he is taking another handoff here. And he'll get a gain of 4 on 1st and 10, bringing up a second and manageable coming up. Good tackle there by Paul Connolly.
Yeah, Connolly coming on through. Zulu saw that opening and took great advantage of it, but Connolly came right in and trucked him as soon as he saw him pass through that first line.
Zulu with over 100 yards on the ground from scrimmage tonight. And he is sidecar left in the gun with Juan Thomas III. He'll get another handoff, and this time the Spitfire defense was ready for him as he has stood up right at the line, courtesy of Easy Temple and company.
Easy Temple, always a huge weapon for the Indy defense, really getting him and just dragging him down. We'll have to see what San Francisco does on this 3rd and 5th and see what they can do.
Spitfire going to play press coverage here as Juan Thomas III will throw. He's stepping up in the pocket, finds a hole there, and that's Gabriel Manning with another catch out to the 42-yard line and into Indy territory.
The more this game has progressed, Eric, I really think I'm calling, and you're calling Gabriel Manning more and more. He seems to really opened up the more time has passed, and he already has 43 yards with 4 catches.
He certainly started to gain more momentum as the first half was running down. And as you mentioned, 4 catches, 43 yards as Ogunzulu is carrying the football. No, I'm sorry, that's his backup there. That's John Blackman getting his first carry and only getting a yard out of the deal.
Interesting to throw the backup in. I have to see what happened. Probably just a change of the play, and he just doesn't really have as much pull as Ogunzulu normally has.
Bunched wide receivers towards the top of the screen for the Sharks as JT3 throws it towards the far sideline, looking for Gabriel Manning. Probably needed to put a little bit more air on that ball as Von Sanook is able to bat it down.
You know, Von Sanook was really looking to bring that in and have just another shenanigan call, but he dropped it, and we'll have to see what goes on this 3rd and long that San Francisco has to deal with.
So a 3rd and long now for the Sharks. 4 wide receivers, Zulu in the backfield. Takes the snap. Has time, he'll throw it towards the far sideline, tipped up in the air and incomplete. Peyton Ellis coming over and laying some pressure out there on the receiver. And that's going to be a 4th down coming up. We'll see. I think this is our first punt from San Francisco tonight.
I believe you're right, Eric. I haven't seen punts so far. Peyton Ellis, the rookie on Indy, joined the 3rd week in. he's showing that he can really come on in and just put some pressure back on the San Francisco offense that's been really free reign so far.
Robert Temps, the punter that we have not seen yet tonight, as he will try and pin the Spitfire back. It's going to bounce. No, it will not. Just coming right underneath the ball is San Francisco and downing it right at the 5-yard line. Great play on special teams there by Rye Starr.
San Francisco and Ryan Starr are really coming in and really protecting that ball, making sure it does not bounce into the end zone, securing that nice field position that they can block Indy on that starting 5.
So what does TD Drew have in store for us here in the second half? He'll have a long way to go as he starts things off from his own 5. Delayed handoff here to Keith Swearingen as he tries to make it through that first tackler, does not, but still able to get 7 out of the deal.
That tackler really seemed like he was hanging on like a koala on him, just dragging in through as Keith pushed on through, but he couldn't really put more up than 7.
That's a good analogy there.
Thanks, Aaron.
Although I'm pretty sure I heard him saying, don't go, don't go, don't go, as he's bringing him down to the turf. 3 wide receivers for the Spitfire. TD Drew in trouble, but he zings it out to Swearingen, who's able to make the nifty one-handed grab, and he makes it out to the 20-yard line, and Indy will move the sticks.
You know, as I said earlier, San Francisco's Gabriel Manning has been warming up. It really seems like Keith's been warming up as time progresses. So far, he has 39 yards total, and he's really pushing on through when they need that extra yard.
Both these teams sitting at 2-3 on the season, trying to gain a little bit of traction in the standings. Indy with their first down of the second half, setting up shop at the 20-yard line. Drew to throw. He throws it over the middle, and a big hit over the middle of the field. And that was Justin Jones laying the lumber on Dan Daly, and a corner on tight end. You normally don't see that kind of violence.
No, Eric, you normally don't. That was sure an interesting hit, and that was a real layout. Daly managed to hold on to the ball, even though he hasn't been doing so recently.
Swearingen with a handoff that stood up right at the sticks, and they'll mark him just shy. Could not give him forward progress past the first down marker. It'll be 3rd and short.
You know, Keith really tried to get through on that. Oh, and he's challenging. Have to see what happens.
We'll have our first Harry's close shave, close call challenge. And we will take a look here, Dan. You know, I'm not sure. I was thinking that maybe this was the right call, but I can see it both ways here, especially with that second effort.
Yeah, that second push, his feet really seem to be on it, and I have to see what they do, where they call this.
So they're taking a good amount of time as referee 62.
The call on the field is overturned.
And they will overturn the call. Indy not charged a timeout. We'll have to see where exactly they spot the ball. They will give them the first down and move the sticks there.
Huge press for Indy and Keith himself, where they kept getting on through, and it seemed to have paid off with that risky challenge.
So they'll still spot him at the 30, but they'll probably give him just the chest hair, which is just what he needed to gain the first down. TD Drew going to air it out deep, and that is tipped and incomplete. Great job by the secondary once again. From shave sets to handles, Harry's provides quality craftsmanship. Made in Germany, we make Harry's products from the finest materials and ingredients to ensure they perform as well as they possibly can. Use the coupon code SIMULATIONFL at purchase from harrys.com. Portion of your purchase supports the SFL, Harry's, official razor of the SFL. Bunched wide receivers down at the bottom of the screen here for 2nd and 10 for Drew, as Swearingen gets another handoff. Chad Guy, who's been a little quiet tonight, able to stand Swearingen up at the line, and it's going to be a 3rd and long coming up for the Spitfire.
You know, Chad Guy, who last time he saw Indy had 7 tackles, 3 of which were for a loss. A big name last time. But this time he's been more quiet, but he seems to have come out and keeping Indy on this 3rd and long.
Drew under center from the Indy 30. He's going to throw it over the middle into coverage, and that is incomplete. I'm not sure that Justin Jones is the guy that you want to pick on in this particular situation here, Dan.
Oh, sure, nah. Justin Jones already with one of the interceptions today with the shenanigans, and he's been throwing that great pressure on these receivers, really covering them down and make sure they do not get anything out of these throws.
Well, and guess who else was over there? That's Jacob Gustafson, who's also had a pick tonight. So just an ill-advised throw there by T.D. Drew. Lucky to come away with an incompletion. And it doesn't look like, well, obviously Indy's going to have to punt here in this situation.
Yeah, it seems Indy's been really getting their pressure pulled. Definitely that drive after that was one of the few first downs all game so far.
Yeah, a couple first downs. Looked like they had the momentum going for them, but could not quite make it happen there. As Jake D'Antonio booting it downfield, and San Francisco will take over from their own 40.
Yeah, Indy with a 38% third down conversion rate. They have not been really showing up well, while San Francisco's defense has been pushing on through during those third downs.
San Francisco coming into this contest with 12 takeaways on the season, as they've increased it by 4. An easy tempo showing that the Spitfire defense is a force to be reckoned with as he drags down Juan Thomas III in the backfield.
Yeah, Easy really seemed to go on through. It seemed Juan Thomas got the ball off, though, just enough, so it was just deemed incomplete as it's only a 2nd and 10.
Oh, I see that now. Yeah, an incomplete pass. I was focused on the hits, but it does look like that was an incomplete pass on the field, so 2nd and 10. Bunch wide receivers for the Sharks. Juan Thomas III to throw it to the far sideline, and looks like it was good defense looking for Gabriel Manning out there. 3rd and 10 coming up here for the Sharks.
Yeah, Von Snook again. He's been really looking for that ball. He's had 2 of the deflections so far this game, and he's been hungry, but it just seems the Sharks are a bit hungrier and get a bit luckier.
So a 3rd and long, going to flip the formation. The bunched wide receivers towards the bottom of the screen this time. 2 safeties for the Spitfire. A little bit of play action. Juan Thomas III in trouble, and he's going to go down in the backfield. That was an ugly play from the start there, Dan, and great result there for the Spitfires. They're forcing to punt.
Huge play for the Spitfire defense. The whole line just sort of collapsed for San Francisco, and Spitfire saw that and just put that great pressure on JT3, just leading him nowhere to be able to pass.
So a 4th and forever now for the Sharks, and that'll bring on Robert Temps for another punt. 5 minutes and counting to go here in the 3rd quarter, as the Spitfire content to set up the return. Hunter Jones from just in front of the 25-yard line. He'll bring it out to his 30. And that is where they will take over, right where they stopped on their last possession.
Interesting showing so far. Eric, what do you think Indy has to do to get these points that they're behind by 13?
The problem is that they're forced to throw the football more. And Swearingen is a great weapon to have that I don't think they've been using a ton of. Being down 13 points, time starting to kind of tick away on you, it kind of forces you to throw the football a little bit more, and it definitely does when the Sharks defense is ready for the run just like that, as we get a look at Swearingen's numbers on the ground.
Yeah, you can see a big difference so far between the 2 defenses of their run defenses. San Francisco's been shutting down Keith, while Indy's been getting a little hurt on Ogunzulu, but he's been running up those numbers.
Drew is going to throw. He'll throw quickly over the middle of the field. That's caught. Hunter Jones with the catch, and he'll get a good chunk of yardage back, and it'll be a 3rd and manageable coming up from the 35.
Yeah, we'll have to see what the Spitfire do on this 3rd and 5. They have both options to see if they trust Swearingen or if they go to the air again with T.D. Drew, who's been a little shoddy tonight.
Indy does like to throw the football quite a bit. I'd imagine them to go to the air, and they will. Drew is in trouble, though, and he goes down, wrapped up by the ankles there as he hits the turf, loses 2, and it's going to be another 4th down and another punt for Indy.
Yeah, San Francisco's really been getting in on the Spitfire line and been able to drop Drew, where Indy's not been able to get many first downs, definitely this second half.
D.D. Sachs getting in there with another sack himself. D'Antonio having to punt the football away for the Spitfire. Fair catch called for by Gabriel Manning at the 32-yard line. And again, more shenanigans, more defensive battles here from each of these teams. Neither offense really getting things going here in the second half.
Yeah, as we were talking earlier, Eric, we were really expecting an offensive shootout. Well, in fact, the defense has been climbing all over both of these offenses. And we'll have to see if Indy can keep it up or if San Francisco keeps some momentum going.
We'll have to see. 3 wide receivers towards the top of the screen. The Sharks will throw to start things off. Throws it far sideline, tipped in the air, right into his hands, intercepted, going the other way. And what a play by the Spitfire defense. Von Sanook coming up with a pick, and that could be just what the Spitfire need to get back in the ballgame.
As I was saying earlier, Von Sanook, he's been hungry for this ball. That is his 3rd attempt at an interception, and this time he brung it all in. And that was a huge play for Indy, keeping those momentum and dropping that ball from San Francisco.
Just a funny-looking play there. More shenanigans. More shenanigans.
Shenanigans, Eric!
He swats the ball, and it somehow loses all momentum and falls right into his breadbasket. From the 31, play action for T.D. Drew. He'll throw it to the near sideline, caught, and that's going to be a good gain of 8 there for Indy to start things off here on first down.
Good throw by Indy. T.D. Drew really needs to get his confidence back with this throw, or else he's going to keep throwing a little bit wild. Hopefully he can bring it in, and we'll see if San Francisco's defense can put another stop to him that they've been doing this entire half.
Second and 2 from the 23. Handoff to Swearingen, trying to find a hole. Gets a little bit of help there from Chad Guy as he pushes him forward across the first down marker to the 20 and into the SFL red zone for a first down.
You know, Eric, I think this is the first time Indy's been in the red zone this entire game. It's the 3rd quarter and the end of it, too.
I think you're right. I don't think you are incorrect on that one, my good sir. 3 wide receivers here for the Spitfire as T.D. Drew is in the gun with 2 backs. Drew to throw, throws it near sideline. That's caught. Trevor Farrell with another catch along this sideline. This time a gain of 4. 2nd and 6 coming up from the 15.
I'm going to do a shout-out. We got about 40 people watching right now. Thanks Nathan Spratt, Mr. Gutty117, Jacob Gustafson, Ermac Jackson, and everyone else watching. And thanks to Sunny6, our stats guy. Make sure to click that like button.
Absolutely. Eric Vincent alongside Dan Mitchell. Sunny6, as we mentioned, in the stats truck tonight. Definitely thank him for helping out. T.D. Drew to throw here on this 2nd and 6. And into coverage again. He's got to stop doing that. Camden Hoffman already with an interception on the evening, and that falls incomplete.
You know, Eric, shenanigans have been happening. I thought I was going to call it again. San Francisco getting that route and learning where that ball is going to go, and they almost had their hands on it once again. Indy, with their not too good 3rd down conversion rate, we'll have to see what they do in this red zone.
Certainly hadn't been good tonight. 3 of 9 tonight as T.D. Drew in trouble, and down he goes. He will not convert the 4th, and it's going to be a 4th down. And guess who? D.D. Sachs getting in there. That's his 3rd sack of the ball game.
D.D. Sachs coming in big and knowing, definitely it seems on these 3rd downs when Indy's trying to throw it, and he gets in there and he dials in on Drews and just drags him down. We'll have to see if Indy can get this field goal and at least put points on the board.
Adam Vinchek, the field goal kicker for the Spitfire. He's going to attempt a 38-yarder here. Kick is up and on the way. It is through from 38 yards, and Indy is finally on the board here. 1:22 left to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, at least Indy's put points on the board now. We'll have to see what they can do with this 10-point deficit so far. They still got a whole 4th quarter to play with, but so does San Francisco. So we'll have to see what they do on this return and drive.
Still plenty of time left, still a whole other quarter of action, but as we've said all night long, there's been nothing but shenanigans in this ball game. So Indy will punt the football away to the Sharks for another possession here in the third quarter, fielded by Gabriel Manning. Only a second kick return of the evening, and he is a dangerous return man. Very shifty out to the 40-yard line, and that is where San Francisco will take over with great field position.
As you said, Gabriel Manning is a dangerous man on the return. If I remember right, last time he played Indy, he did have a punt return for a touchdown. He knows how to get around that whole special teams worth of defenders coming at him.
And to answer Hunter Jones in the chat, I believe that did hit the field goal post, because I believe I heard a doink as it went through there. And oh man, is he in trouble? Juan Thomas getting eaten up by Easy Temple III. That was like watching a bad car wreck there. You just don't want to look away.
JT3 really had nowhere to go. It was a car coming straight at him. He was a deer in headlights. Easy Temple, this giant 300-pound man coming straight for him.
Watching that whole thing go down, you're like, no, run away, run faster, he's going to get you. And there he goes, down in the backfield. A little play action this time for the Sharks as he gets back a little bit of that yardage there on the sack. And it's going to be a 3rd and 13 from the 36 coming up here.
You know, Ermac Jackson hasn't really been big this entire game. He has 3 catches for 28 yards, but they're picking up that little bit of chunkage that they just lost because of Easy Temple, and we'll have to see if they can get back on this real 3rd and long.
Still 3rd and forever. We'll have to see what they can do here. Juan Thomas III to throw. He'll throw it deep over the middle of the field, tipped and incomplete. He was looking again for Jacoby Sanders. He's been targeted a few times this evening, couldn't quite come up with anything though, and that's going to be a punt there for Robert Tepps.
That sure was disappointing for San Francisco. The whole sack by Easy really, I think, threw them off their plan, and they had to reel back and try and get in. But the Sharks just got reeled in themselves and have to punt it away, and we'll have to see what Indianapolis Spitfire do.
And Dan, the Spitfire slow to start things off last week in their overtime win against the Renegades. Could we see something similar here as they catch fire in the second half? And Hunter Jones... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. You know, Spitfire have been regularly a later half team where they don't really seem to shoot up to the end of every game. They've always been slow to start off, at least as long as I've known them, and it seems to be a real problem among them.
So we'll have to see what happens here. It's still certainly within this ball game, down by 10. TD Drew in the pocket, standing tall, throws it over the middle. That's caught by Trevor Farrell, who zorches up the middle of the field. What a play there by the former Vancouver Legion.
Huge play for both TD Drew and Trevor Farrell. That was the longest pass I think I've seen this entire game, maybe? Definitely by the Indianapolis Spitfire. That was a zooming overrun gunplay by the Spitfire trying to get that catch in, which was huge for them.
Excellent play to close the third quarter of action here in the Bay Area. And we've got a good game for you folks. Don't touch that dial. We'll be coming back with the final frame of action. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music. We're live on YouTube. Once again, Eric Vincent alongside Dan Mitchell, Sunny 6 in the stats truck tonight. Thank you guys for coming out and checking us out. And as I mentioned there at the break, certainly got plenty of action to come. And we've had plenty of action all night, really, from San Francisco, as TD Drew is going to throw it to the far sideline. And we got some toe drag swag there from Trevor Farrell as he keeps his feet in bounds for a 2nd and 7. The SFL is brought to you in part by Matt Doyle Designs, official design partner of the SFL. The MediaTek Institute. Visit mediatek.edu for diploma programs. Turn your passion into profession. MeUndies, the world's most comfortable underwear for men and women. Second and 7, high snap from the 31. Drew checks it down over the middle. He's got Dan Daly, his tight end, and that will move them out to the 28-yard line. 3rd and short coming up.
We'll have to see what they do. They have 4 yards to press to get this first down, but so far Indy's not been too well for doing anything really on their 3rd down. See if they can convert this better than the 30% so far.
They certainly have been abysmal tonight on third down. We'll see if they can convert it here. TD Drew, pressure coming, throws it over the middle of the field. That's tipped right in the waiting arms of Hunter Jones. A fantastic play by the wide receiver coming off of a terrible pass by his quarterback.
You know, I think that qualifies for shenanigans, Eric, because it
absolutely
almost like a interception from the interception. It was a shenanigan-filled play.
We've seen plenty of interceptions like that tonight, and this one was a reception. So it certainly falls under the category of shenanigans and a third down conversion. TD Drew throws it over the middle of the field. That's caught down to the 4-yard line. And that's Trevor Farrell again, who has been catching fire in the final frame here.
I think Trevor Farrell realized he was playing football. Between the toe drag swag and everything going on, it's been huge picking up these yards. He is up to 78 yards, most of which I think he's picked up just in the last few minutes.
From the end of the third quarter into the fourth quarter, we've seen this offense catch fire, and it's all thanks to Trevor Farrell. And a little bit of luck on the part of Hunter Jones as Swearingen gets a handoff, and boy, that offensive line didn't do him any favors there. Chad Guy in there on the tackle, and they're going to lose 3 on the play, second and goal.
Really seemed like Indy's offensive line just collapsed or opened the floodgates for the Sharks, who got into the city and started biting out on that Swearingen who's trying to run on through.
Bunched wide receivers towards the top of the screen there for Indy. Swearingen in the backfield, Drew under center. Drew with a short drop, he'll throw it to the far sideline. Got his man wide open, Leonidas Richards will waltz in the end zone. Touchdown, Spitfire.
Leonidas Richards realizing, oh, I haven't heard my name yet today, and just got that easy check down and walked right into that end zone, putting Indy really back into a nice position in this game. Let's see what they can do at a probable third deficit.
And really nobody covering him on that route. The defense getting lost in kind of the way that the play was trending towards the center of the field and just forgot all about Richards.
Number 2 is back for the point after.
Absolutely, Eric. He just seemed wide open, and he had a nice, easy play to get right into that end zone. We'll have to see what they do now that the Sharks are going to get the ball back with about 8:40 to go.
Important extra point here by Vinchek as he's able to boot it through, making it a 3-point ball game and only a field goal deficit with 8:40 left to go in the ball game.
You know, Eric, it's really seemed like Indy had a slow startup now that they've caught wind that it's the fourth quarter and that they're playing ball again.
And as I mentioned, Dan, you know, just full of shenanigans all day long, both of these teams. And the Spitfire did this same exact thing as I called their game a week ago when we were in the Midwest in Oklahoma City. So none of this is surprising me in the least, except for maybe the fact that we've seen nothing but interceptions all game long. But the Spitfire coming back is not surprising me at all here.
Yeah, the shenanigans, as you said, have been crazy. The defensive struggle that's been going on is insane. Everyone's eyes are flip-flopped, I think, and it's been a very interesting game, to say the least.
All the momentum in the favor of the Spitfire. We'll see what the Sharks can do to tilt the scales as Juan Thomas III throwing deep over the middle, and that's certainly going to do it. Splits the safeties as he is able to find Matt Burnham on a deep route out over the middle of the field, already into opponent's territory.
You know, that was Matt Burnham's second target and second catch all game, and that was a huge play for him and San Francisco, who just picked up a very large chunk very quickly.
Already at the Indy 39-yard line with that huge play there by Matt Burnham. Handoff to Zulu. Zulu following blockers. Spin move and is able to find plenty of room. He's not going to be touched into the end zone. Touchdown Sharks. That's certainly a way to tilt the scales.
Definitely, Eric. It really seems like both teams are waking up at the end now. Both defenses have been playing, I think, the same, but the offenses woke up and remember how to play football. Great catch by Burnham, and then a great, amazing run by Ogunzulu, who just really found all his openings, got that spin cycle, and ran straight for the end zone with no one really to stop him.
Well, and great blocking up front as well by the line. Kelvin Bryant with a key block there, and Ogunzulu making the only man really that was available to make the tackle, making him miss and look silly on that spin cycle there. And he's able to find his way into the end zone. Absolutely incredible. And that's our Movement Everscroll block of the game, brought to you by Movement Premium Watches, Sunglasses, and Accessories.
You know, I had a Movement watch myself, and I have to say it's very, very fine quality for a very good price. I would definitely recommend one.
Absolutely. As the extra point, that was very important there. So if that got blocked, that would have been a heck of a play there. But alas, it does go through. 20-10 now your score in favor of the Sharks. Everscroll by Movement blocks blue light to protect your eyes from digital screens. Don't hurt your eyes by checking out SFL action. Protect them and see every moment by using the promo code SimulationFL at purchase from MVMT.com. A portion of your purchase supports the SFL through our partnership, Movement, Premium Watches, Sunglasses, and Accessories. As Hunter Jones takes the kickoff here, and we'll bring it up to the 32-yard line for a decent return. And we'll see what the Spitfire have in store for as both these teams able to kind of wake up here within the last few minutes of action here, Dan.
Definitely, Eric. We'll have to see if both teams start doing what we thought they would do the entire game and just have offense-filled passes and runs and just have a shootout, but maybe just for the fourth quarter.
7:55 left to go in regulation. Handoff to Keith Swearingen, trying to follow blockers, and gets absolutely leveled at the line there by Justin Jones. Swearingen will get a gain of 1, 2nd and 9.
You know, Justin Jones really came out there. Swearingen tried to change his route and push on through, but he just didn't seem to get it. His 22, the cornerback Justin Jones, just dropped him right there after he gained about a yard.
3 wide receivers for TD Drew to work with here. Leonidas Richards towards the bottom of the screen caught the touchdown pass on the previous drive. Drew will throw. He'll throw the other way towards the far sideline. Leaping grab by Trevor Farrell. Just halts all momentum. He made the catch, but only for a gain of a few on the play.
Yeah, TD Drew seemed to throw in a bit wild, and that was way above Trevor Farrell. I'm surprised he caught it, but he had to catch or jump to catch it, and he really couldn't go anywhere afterward.
So a 3rd and long for Indy to work with here. TD Drew with time. He'll throw it over the middle of the field, tipped and incomplete. Threw it into coverage once again, and Camden Hoffman doing a good job in coverage. That will fall incomplete. Indy's going to have to punt.
You know, Eric, I saw Ref 62, I saw 2 defenders, and I saw 1 Spitfire, and I couldn't tell who was supposed to get that ball.
I certainly can't argue with that. And, you know, honestly, TD Drew has just been that inaccurate all night long. His stat line certainly doesn't show that. 26 of 35, 222, and a touchdown, but he's also thrown 4 picks tonight as well.
Yeah, we haven't seen a tire pick really for a while. I'm surprised, but it's also good to see that both quarterbacks seem to reel it in later on in this game.
Fair catch called for by Gabriel Manning at the 31-yard line. That will be where the Sharks take over. And we might see them try and choose some clock here, but the way that Ogunzulu's been running, there might not be a ton of clock coming off and more points coming on the board.
Could be right about that, Eric. Let's see if they hand it off to him.
He is in the backfield. Juan Thomas III will throw, though, and he'll throw it deep, just like last drive. This time, Spitfire was ready for it, as it is tipped and incomplete. Looking for Burnham once again, but Paul Connolly smartly in coverage.
Burnham went out far, and they thought they could burn him again, but Paul Connolly thinking ahead and really tipped that ball, trying to drag it in, and you get a good enough hand on it. But that was a great play by the Spitfire, dragging that long pass. That could have been a hammer in their grave, a nail in their coffin.
3 wide receivers, 2 backs in the gun with Juan Thomas III. He will turn around and hand it off to Ogunzulu. He had plenty of room there, but good tackle by Peyton Ellison in the open field, and results in a gain of 3.
Yeah, Peyton Ellis was a bit more mentioned early in the game, but he really seemed to dial in and grab Ogunzulu who was running on by. He seemed to correct his path. A great tackle by him.
Zulu sidecar right this time for this 3rd and 7. Clock continuing to run. Thomas pump fakes. He'll throw it over the middle deep, and he's got his man once again. just about the same exact spot, but this time Gabriel Manning on the receiving end, and he is hyped up.
That was a great catch by Gabriel Manning, really showing his veterancy on that team. I think he had 3 defenders on him, and he was able to, 2 and 1 coming at him, and he was able to reel that ball in and make sure he brought down, getting great yardage for the Sharks, getting 60 yards so far this game.
Splitting the safeties was Juan Thomas III, and beating the coverage by Sanook was Gabriel Manning, all resulting in a huge gain into Indy territory. And the Sharks trying to put this thing to bed. Wide open towards the far sideline. It's caught into the SFL red zone. Down at the 16-yard line is Manning once again.
Manning running these great routes, and no one seems to follow him. He was wide open. I thought he was going to go farther with that, but that was a great throw by JT3. You saw his man wide open, and he had nowhere to go but just right to it.
I honestly think he was planning on a 5-step drop there, but as soon as he saw Manning going so free, shortened it to a 3 and just chucked it out there for him. Into the SFL red zone at the 16-yard line. Bunched wide receivers towards the bottom of the screen here for JT3. He's going to step up right into the defensive line, and down he goes. Easy Temple with another sack. He's got 2 on the evening tonight.
You know, Easy Temple, I think he already matched up what he had last time versus San Francisco. He's coming in and showing that what he does. He goes in and he takes down those quarterbacks.
So a 2nd and long now for the Sharks. 2 backs in the gun with JT3. He will throw quickly over the middle of the field. He's got Manning, and Manning just dragging defenders to the 7-yard line, very, very close to another Sharks first down.
That was a great throw, both between JT3 and a great catch by Manning. JT3 led that ball the perfect amount, so Manning could grab it and keep pushing on forward without really having to worry about the defenders right behind him.
Von Sanook getting picked by his own guy out there on defense is what sprung Manning free on the play. So a 3rd and short for the Sharks. I formation from the 7. Under 4 minutes to go here in the ball game. Hand off to Ogunzulu. He's got plenty of room, and he's going to get into the end zone. Touchdown Sharks. That might just about do it.
Once again, Ogunzulu showing that he's up for this game. You know, he can go on and he can run the distance that most running backs really can't. He's already got 14 attempts for 141 yards. He's got 160 yards for the game. He's a huge running back and the great assets for the Sharks. And I really hope that they keep on using him for the future. Do you think Indy still has a chance, Eric? Or do you think they got to pull some magic?
It's going to have to be some magic, but there's been plenty of shenanigans tonight, so I certainly don't shy away from that, as we've got an extra point coming up here.
We'll have to see if either team has any shenanigans and see what happens as this shenanigan full game comes to a close with about 4 minutes left in the 4th. I'd like to thank Sonny6, our stats guy. He's been great, been pulling up all game, doing a great job at it. If you want to join our stats game, make sure you talk to Nathan Blake on stats in the Discord.
Absolutely. Be sure to check us out. SimulationFL.net is the website. And speaking of which, the SFL is brought to you in part by Movement, premium watches, sunglasses, and accessories. And by Quip, perfect oral care delivered. And by ScoreStream, official score updates app of the SFL. As well as Spygo, the sound choice. And running it right up the middle of the field is Hunter Jones for his return out to the 31-yard line. Also, shout out to Richard's Printworks, the official shop of the SFL. He's got some good quality stuff there that is to be purchased from the Simulation Football website, so be sure to check that out.
Definitely, Eric. I have a few shirts by him myself, and they're always great.
So 27-10 your score. Spitfire trying to hold on to dear life here as they throw to the far sideline, completes to Trevor Farrell, who's got 81 yards on 9 catches on the evening. That going to stop the clock momentarily at 3:46.
We'll have to really see what Indy does with this clock management with not that much time left, and they're down by a good amount of scores. So we'll have to see if they start throwing a bit wild with TD Drew and his 4 interceptions so far, or if they just try and keep it safe and just call it where it is.
Also, shout out to our moderator tonight, Ashley Jackson, for keeping everybody in line and making sure everyone has a good time tonight. TD Drew's going to throw deep, and a diving attempt there by Leonidas Richards as he extends to the 33-yard line for a first down.
Well, like I said, I guess they're going wild. Leonidas Richards just laying out for that catch for dear life.
More shenanigans afoot here in the Bay Area as TD Drew under center going no huddle. He's going to throw it over the middle of the field. That's caught for another first down. Trevor Farrell moving the sticks that time. Drew to throw again. Good pocket. He'll throw deep to the end zone. Touchdown, Spitfire. And it's not over yet, folks. Richards with his second touchdown grab of the night.
Well, I guess Indy felt some fire under them because they just went off immediately. They got this ball, and TD Drew started just laying it out as far as he could. It seemed like that last pass, which didn't really have to be that far, went straight up, but Leonidas Richards really being able to pull that in for that touchdown.
Very smart decision by TD Drew to keep San Francisco in that defensive package. Obviously, plenty of success there through the air, and I think that directly attributed to them getting the touchdown there as Vinchek boots it up and through, making it a 10-point deficit now. I think it might be time for an onside kick. What do you think, Dan?
You know, with how San Francisco has been playing all day, definitely with Ogunzulu, who could burn the rest of this clock with ease, I think that's their best option.
And it looks like we will see it here. Going to do the loop-de-loop as he boots it back the other way. Easily fielded by the Sharks. And they will take over there at the 40-yard line of Indy.
We'll have to see how San Francisco does this time management with about 3 minutes left. And they have the 2-minute warning, and both teams seem to have all their timeouts. And we'll have to see what both teams do. And if San Francisco will just choose to run it the entire time, or if any more shenanigans will happen at the end of this game.
Just a 2-possession game now. Hand off to the fullback. Indy ready for it. And that was the linebackers coming in as we get a look at both running backs on the evening tonight. Ogunzulu just been a terror on the ground tonight.
Obviously, Ogunzulu with huge numbers this game so far. He's got 167 yards total, 140 yards on the ground with 27 yards receiving, averaging 9.3 yards a carry. He's been an absolute monster all game with 3 touchdowns, my bad, destroying this Indy defense.
And the Spitfire content with not burning any timeouts yet. The Sharks letting the play clock run down to 2 before taking the snap, and Ogunzulu will only get about 2 on that play. And that will probably be the final play before the quick 2-minute warning.
We'll have to see what they do with the Indy defense and what they'll do with these last around 2 minutes. If they don't put a stop to it, this down right here, we may have an ugly game.
So with the quick 2-minute warning, deficit is 10 for the Spitfire. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music. Third and long now for the Sharks. Spitfire need a stop here. Hand off to Zulu, and the Spitfire will get their stop as they burn their first time out here in the second half. Quip Design delivers simple ways to keep your mouth healthy with time vibrations, brush head refills for $5, refilled every 3 months. Covered for life with free shipping for life. Use the link posted in the chat, and your purchase will help support the SFL through our partnership. Quip, a more wholesome clean.
We'll have to see what, oh, my bad, you go, Eric.
No. I was just going to say, Sharks trying a clean shop here. And Indy coming after it. Sharks trying to grab it right about the 9, but it still bounces at about the 4-yard line. We've seen a couple of those punts tonight from Temps And just a great job there by the Sharks special teams.
Yeah, the San Francisco special teams has been able to pin Indy real deep a few times, giving them hard starting field position. We'll have to see what they do with less than 2 minutes to go and a 10-point lead on top of them that they have to get back to.
Swearingen completely ineffective on the ground tonight, only 30 yards rushing. 10-point deficit and 96 yards to go. We'll see what happens. TD Drew swinging it out to Swearingen. Good open field tackle by the Sharks secondary. Justin Jones in there on the stop. Clock running, 2 timeouts for the Spitfire. Drew to throw again. He's going to throw it over the middle. Found a cushion in the zone. That's Dan Daly that will move the sticks out to the 17. Drew going deep this time. Has a man wide open and couldn't complete the catch. Trevor Farrell, what are you doing?
Huge miss by Trevor Farrell. He laid out for it, but he couldn't get his hands on it, which would have set Indy up. But it seems that they'll have to deal with this 2nd and long and have to maybe try again for the exact same thing, with San Francisco getting the wiser though this time.
I don't even think he needed to lay out for it, though. I think he just unnecessarily jumped up for it and just couldn't reel it in, but that was exactly what the Spitfire needed there, trying to score points in a hurry. Drew, pressure coming, throws it over the middle, sliding grab by Richards as Leonidas moves the sticks out to the 30-yard line. 65 seconds left to go here in the ball game. Drew to throw again, throws it over the middle of the field into coverage, and that was a dangerous pass that didn't need to be thrown.
Very, very dangerous, Eric. TD Drew, I think, is getting a little bit caught up in the end of this game and just trying to throw it away without really directing who it's to, which could end to another interception, which would just end this game right now.
Able to make up for past mistakes there as he's thrown for over 300 yards. And 2 touchdowns on the evening as well. Can he add a 3rd free play for the Spitfire? They're going to throw it to the near sideline. That's caught. I believe it was only about a gain of 4, so they'll probably take the penalty and keep the extra down.
It'll hurt the Sharks, but it may not be too bad for them at the end of this game. Less than a minute to go. We'll have to see what Indy can do to really fire up the end of this game with more to score.
And as expected, the Spitfire accept the MeUndies laundry on the field. Down by 10, less than a minute to go here. 2 timeouts for Indy. 2nd and 5 coming up. Drew takes the high snap, throws it quickly over to Richards, who was down at the bottom of the screen, beat his man off the line. That's Justin Jones. Clock will move, and the chains will move as well. Drew, another quick snap, throws it over the middle. That's Dan Daly with another catch. Continuing the no huddle here, running out of time. Still have 2 timeouts. Drew to throw. He's going to throw far sideline, and that is Swearingen. I don't believe that he got the feet in bounds, and it's going to be an incompletion. 3rd and 3 coming up.
I really seem they were trying to stop the clock there to slow down without having to use a timeout. We'll have to see, as they have probably 2 more plays, they'll definitely go for it on a 4th down.
.32 seconds left to go here in the ball game. 3rd and 3. Drew throws it over the middle. He had 3 wide receivers to choose from, and he got Hunter Jones. And Indy's going to burn their 2nd timeout with 26 seconds left to go.
Yeah, Indy will definitely need some crazy shenanigans. Even if they manage to get a touchdown, they'll have to have a onside into a Hail Mary. We'll have to see if anything. Game isn't crazy so far, but I don't know if it'll get that crazy.
I'm not sure either. I've certainly seen crazy. 3 wide receivers for Drew from the San Francisco 34. He's going to throw quickly out to Swearingen. Swearingen not picking up any blocks, and that's not going to do the Spitfire any favors. The clock continuing to roll as the whole offense moving down the field, having to come all the way back. Under 10 seconds left to go here. That might have sealed the Spitfire's fate. Drew is going to throw. He'll throw it over to the far sideline. That's caught, and the final timeout will be burned as Dan Daly makes it out to the 19-yard line with 3 seconds to go.
You know, Eric, that really seals the deal for this game, and I would have to say it's a crazy game between these two teams. Shenanigan-filled and a defensive crunch that was going on that was very unexpected between both of them.
Could not agree more. TD Drew, again, if you're just joining us, has thrown 4 interceptions on the evening and has thrown some curious passes as well. Not all of those interceptions his fault for sure. But Juan Thomas III has not escaped blemishes himself as he's thrown for a few picks tonight as well. TD Drew on the final play of the evening, and that pretty much sums it up right there, throwing it into coverage, tipped and incomplete. That will be the ball game as the Sharks move to 3-3 on the year. The Spitfire falling to 2-4 as we roll the 2K Sports postgame show and get a look at the final stats and highlights on the evening. Both teams a little bit turnover prone tonight, Dan.
Oh, for sure. TD Drew was throwing wild for most of the game. If it wasn't intercepted, it's probably deflected. And even the Spitfire had some very good defense where they picked up a few takeaways. And the game was coming in was very unexpected what was happening. We were coming in with 2 high-power offenses, and we got a defensive shutout between both of them.
Just very impressive showing by both of these defenses tonight, which at the top of the broadcast we discussed we were expecting a high-flying passing attack from both of these ball clubs, and certainly not what we got instead, which was a defensive back and forth.
Yeah, and definitely Ogunzulu came out as well on the running back for San Francisco and had great yardage. He was pulling them left and right, and he really pulled the defenders and grabbed, what was it, 170 yards this game? He was a great asset to the San Francisco Sharks.
Absolutely, 170 total yards on the ground. Actually, all-purpose yards, for Ogunzulu. And a 10-point victory. The result, Keith Swearingen again ineffective for the Spitfire. And I think that contributed to the bit of the struggles that Indy had on offense.
Definitely. If you had a name player game, who do you think he was, Eric?
Oh, man. That's going to be a toughie. Shoot. I know it's not going to do this, but I give it to the whole San Francisco defense for just playing an incredible game. However, our extraordinary Everest player of the game will be Ogunzulu. As we mentioned, over 170 yards, all-purpose offense, 143 of that on the ground tonight. Dan, any final thoughts before we let the people go?
I just have to say, San Francisco really turned it up this game on the momentum they had, and have to see what they do next game to see if they keep this game going with Ogunzulu, or if the Spitfire turn this around as they were on an upward streak.
And that concludes our Week 6 of broadcasting for the SFL. On behalf of Dan Mitchell and our stats team, I want to thank you guys Sunny 6 on stats tonight. I want to thank you guys for coming out, and we'll see you next week.